All right, so we're going to talk about Google Sites very quickly. So I'm going to go to, again, my Google Drive. And this is, again, where you always want to start. And I actually made a video. It did not turn out because I was not actually recording while I did it. So note to self, make sure the video is going before you do the entire spiel. All right. Go to your Google Drive and then again navigate to the folder that you would want this site to be in so that you can find it later and it'd be easy for you to get to and start doing your edits when you need to. So I'm just going to do new, and again you scroll down to more and then you find the option you're looking for, which is Google Sites. When you click on Google Sites, it opens up a brand new site. It's going to look very basic, and it is very basic, and it's very easy. And it's not going to be like most website design places like Weebly and Wix, where it takes a long time just to get some text and images and videos and things like that put on there. All right, so here's my page title. Again, this would be like your room number. This would be, who you are. So I'm going to put 906 Mr. Johns, and this is going to be my class website. So if I grab these here, I can spread this out. I can make it look a little bit more neat if I wanted to, and do different things here. I can resize this text if I wanted to. It's all dependent on what you're trying to do out of this. So as I pull that, it will resize and do what it needs to do so it looks the way I want to look. All right, so I can come to themes. Maybe I don't like the way this is looking, and I can pick different themes. If I click on that, I can change the color. I can change the font and do different things like that. So real easy, real basic. If I wanted more palettes, I could click here and of course do the whole palette thing like you do on all kinds of programs. So if you had issues with the color that it was, you could always change that. All right, so very easy, very basic, very easy to do. All right, so now I can come back to insert and I can actually start putting things in. What I highly recommend and I will use every time is the layouts. The layouts make it so much easier for you to get things in here and make it look nice and neat. So I'm going to choose this first layout and I'm going to put welcome to my class. I'm going to click here to edit this text and put just my name, and then right here I can upload an image of myself. So I'm just going to upload a quick screenshot I took earlier right here and put it in there. All right, so notice the screenshot's not quite the size I want, so all I have to do to make it look a little neater and better as I pull that arrow down, and it makes it look nice and neat for me. All right, so that is the basics of getting started. Again, always use the layout. So that's a layout for this section. If I want a different layout, I can click in this next section and then I can add that. And so I can add more sections. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So I would, again, highly recommend that you use the layout button, because if you don't, then you're going to run into issues probably later on. So again, I can add images here and text here, because that's the layout I chose. While I'm still selected in this area, I can pick different ones, and it will put them below it. Okay, say I don't want this section anymore. Maybe I wanted it to look this way, and it's added that. I can just click in this section here and delete the section, and it's gone. And then it's going to put this section that I did want to keep. While you're on the section, you can click here, and you can do what's called emphasis. Regular is just going to keep a nice white background, but let's say I want to draw emphasis to this section, I can actually do that. And then when I add stuff here, it will make it pop a little more, make it kind of show up a little bit better. Don't get carried away with that though, because anytime you start adding a whole bunch of emphasis and colors, anytime you do that, it needs to be for a very specific reason, something that you're wanting to call out. So don't get carried away with those kind of things. All right, so that's how to get started. Now, this is my home page. I want more pages. And I skipped the fundamental rule. I need to come up here and name this my class website. You can name it whatever you want. Forgot that fundamental rule. And you'll notice it puts the title there as well. All right. So now I need to maybe add a page. So maybe I'm organizing my units. Now, I will say that this is probably a very useful tool for students to use compared to your use. Your use, to me, is going to be very basic and very just, from a functional standpoint of just putting information out there. So like maybe units and unit maps and things to make students and parents aware of what we're doing in class and where we're going in class. Beyond that, I wouldn't get carried away with the websites. Now, for students, they can create portfolios and maybe a culminating project that they've worked on all year. So they've done different documents and different forms and sheets themselves and slides, and it's all for this culminating piece at the very end, and they're building their portfolio. So that's something that is very useful for the student. Again, for you though, class websites to me, are a little dated, but they still can be useful for just finding information for parents if they just need to find some information real quick. Or maybe they need Unit 1 worksheets because their student was sick for 2 weeks or whatever at the beginning of the year, and there's still some zeros sitting out there where students haven't made up that work. I don't know. Different reasons you could find for having a class website. So when I click New Page, I can name the new page whatever I want. I'm going to pretend I'm a teacher and I'm creating unit pages. So I click Unit 1. So here, if I want to insert something again, I come back here. I can use any of these layouts. Okay. Now, if you want just pure text, you don't want an image, the layouts aren't good. So if I just want to put pure text in here, this is all the information about Unit 1. So I can do that, and then I can put all the information about Unit 1 here, and I can start inserting worksheets if I wanted to. So I could click Drive, and I could start finding the worksheets that I want to put here. Maybe it's the slideshows that I use in class. Different things could be placed here, but I could go to Google Course, and then I could click on this document, and I could insert it. Alright, so once I insert it, you'll notice it brings that text over, makes it look exactly how it looked. If your document was larger, all you have to do is resize it. Okay, so you can pull that down, resize it to whatever size you need, and you can insert your documents live on the page here, so that students, other teachers, and parents can find this if they needed to. All right, so I've put in some documents for them to work on. That's what they're working on for today. I can come back to pages. I can add a page. And maybe I call this Unit 1 Notes. Done. So Unit 1 Notes needs to go under Unit 1. So what I do is I hold click on it and I drag it over Unit 1 and let go. And you'll notice it changed up here. So anything that's not underneath each other, okay, they go across the top. Anything that's underneath something, it creates a drop menu for you to find that. Okay. Same thing here. If I want to insert stuff, I come here and I insert what I want to insert. So again, I'm not organizing this site at all in any way, shape, or form. I'm simply showing you functionality. So this isn't going to make much sense as far as what I'm doing, but I'm just showing you the functionality of what you can do. So let's say I want to put a YouTube video in there. Maybe it's of me instructing, someone else instructing. I can put that right there. I could click YouTube, and I could type in something like chemical reactions. And I could insert that. So I select that. It's going to put that video in here, and now that video can be played directly from my site. Okay. Maybe I want to insert a calendar of the events that are going to be happening in the classroom to keep students and parents up to date. So when I add a calendar, I have to add it based on me. And so I insert that calendar, and then what I can do is I can change the functionality of what that looks like. I can again resize it as always by just pulling on it, resizing it. That's very easy to do. I click the settings, and maybe I want it to organize by month instead, and I can have it show the title, the date. I can do that. I can leave the navigation buttons up there or not. I click done. So now it has this. So this would be kind of hard to read. They know it's June, so it's in June, but again, there's nothing showing me that because I turned that off. So just make sure that you have things turned on that need to be on and things turned off that need to be turned off, if you don't want it to be showing up there. When we get into the calendar section, we'll talk about that a little bit more, and anything that you add to the calendar would show up right here. And so just make sure that you do that. So if you want to have a class calendar kind of up there for parents to see what's going on. You can add, again, documents straight to the page, slides, sheets, forms, charts. But again, you can do that directly by just clicking on the Drive button and navigating to where that's at. That's a lot easier to do. So again, layouts are your friend, unless you're just wanting to simply put in text like we did on the Unit 1 page. If you're just wanting to simply do text, just throw that text in there. All right, so I did not organize this site well at all. That's not what this is about. This isn't a web design class. This was just showing you how to use the functionality, okay? What you have to know are the two options here. You can share it with others to help you edit, or you can just simply publish it. If I click here, I just type in the email address of the person that I want to be able to edit, okay? So I just start typing in, it will find who I want, and I can add them as an editor, okay? Or I can just simply publish it myself. Notice it gives me an automatic name. I can leave that name just like it is. It's fine with me. Or I could change it. Now what I just did is I'm changing the settings. So I'm going to actually do that a little bit slower so you can see what I did. So it says, who can view my site? Anyone at Okefenokee RESA. Well, that's good and dandy, but my parents cannot see that because they're not part of Okefenokee RESA. So I have to click Manage. And once I click Manage, I come here and I change the link status. And I need to say, you know what, the published site, once it published, needs to be public. I need everyone to be able to find it. Now the draft is restricted, only I can. Okay, so I want it that way. So I have it published to be public. So now it says, who can view my site? Anyone. Anyone can view my site. And that's the way I want it. I want parents to be able to find this. So I click Publish. And then there it is. Now it's been published, and they can find this very easily now. All right, by me giving them the link. So I'm going to show you what the link is. So I do the drop down right here. If I do the drop down, I can view the published site, and I can see it as a parent or a student would see it. Okay. Notice I get a little pin in the corner. That just means I can edit. So if I click this, it would take me back to this tab where I can edit. But this is what students and parents would see. This is what it would look like when they navigate to these pages. Okay, very easy, simple to do. It brings up this document. It gives them a nice scroll feature inside that document, so easy for them to use. It also gives them this option to open this, and I have to make this document, just to be clear, I have to make this document public on the web in my sharing settings for them to be able to see it. If that document isn't public, then me putting it on this page, they won't be able to see it. So you have to change those sharing settings as well. And those are things we've talked about in previous modules. All right, and I just navigate through, and this is exactly what they would be seeing. Again, not a very good looking site, but it serves its purpose. It's doing what it's supposed to. I've showed you how to insert images, text, add pages, and subpages. That should get you started and get you an idea. This is a much more useful tool for students than it is you, as far as like building portfolios. So you knowing all the ins and outs and all the details of how to do everything on this website isn't as important, but you could create a rubric to show them how you want it organized. You want a home page, you want a unit page, and you want one subpage per unit. However you want to organize that for the students, you would be able to create a rubric for that now, because you know how a website works and how easy it is to create. All right, I hope this video is helpful. Make sure you follow the directions of your instructor in the task, and if you have questions, email them. If you have further issues, you can always reach out to me, but generally your instructor is going to answer all of those questions. I hope this was helpful. Have a great day.